Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's nice to not see you, but see your names on the screen in front of me, and you can see us. So this is our second webinar. We had our first one with the Northern region last week, and we think it went pretty well. Definitely miss seeing everyone in person, though. So I'm just going to set out some expectations and tell you what we're doing today. So to begin with, everyone is automatically muted. If you have questions or you want to talk, you can raise your hand or you can post your question in the questions box that you have on your screen, and we will get to them either at the end of a section or as we go, depending on what it is. We'll start out like any other orientation. Peter will tell us about what happened last year, what we're expecting for this year, and just go over the general side of things. Then we'll probably have a little bit of a break in the middle so you can stretch your legs and get a drink, tea or coffee, water, whatever you want. And then I'll get into the operations side of things. And then we should have a bit of time at the end to hear from everyone too. You can see Peter sharing his screen now. And we'll probably also ask you throughout the webinar if you have anything that you'd like to share that's relevant to what we're talking about, just like we do when we're in person. So there's that. To start with, I want to do a quick poll to find out how long everyone's been around, and then I'll also unmute people alphabetically, so you can please introduce yourself, let us know what partner or market you're from, and how things are going for you so far this year, given everything. So I'll put this up and then I'll start unmuting people so we can hear from you. So we'll start with Amanda. All right, so Amanda, you should be unmuted now.
Oh, Amanda may not have, some people might not have mics. Oh yeah, so.
Can you hear me now?
So some people, yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, sorry. Mute button in the top. So Amanda, and from Vernon Farmers Market, and this is my second year with the program.
Good, and how are things going this year?
Things are going along pretty good so far. We're following all the different practices. Community's receiving it pretty well and supporting us. So yeah, we're running along good so far. We're excited for the program and see how we manage it this year.
Yeah,
It'll be
awesome. And I can see Ingrid doesn't have a microphone, but Ingrid is also from Vernon. All right, so let's go on to Annette now. All right, so you should be unmuted. Are you there, Annette? All right, so we'll move on now to Carmen. Oh, I hear something. Okay, maybe not. I think some people have mic issues. All right, let's try Colleen.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So we are doing great this year. We've got more farmers than we normally have, lots of bakers. Everybody
And
seems to be doing okay.
which market are you from, Colleen?
Oh, sorry, Armstrong Farmers Market.
Great.
Yeah, we're looking forward to doing the nutrition program again.
And have you been running some markets? How's it going with the running the markets this year? So
It's actually going very well. We've got our signs posted, but our market is so small that we figured people could self-regulate, and so far so good.
Great, thank you. All right, so now let's hear from, oh, we got a message from Carmen. So Carmen is only signed into the audio, but she is from the Nurse Family Partnership. And Darcy? Okay, maybe Darcy has stepped away or it's not working. So let's hear from Deborah Williams.
Hello, Talia, how
Hi.
are you?
Good.
Good. So I'm sorry, we had technical problems right at the beginning. I don't know what the question was.
So if you could just tell us who you are, what partner or market you're from, and then how things are going for you so far this year
Okay,
with the
so
program.
Deborah Williams and from 100 Mile House, and we have the South Caribou Farmers Market here. Our market has just started up recently, and we haven't, of course, got everybody on board yet for our coupons, just because of the whole restart program, that just trying to figure everything out. But our plan this year is to mail all the coupons out to the participants, see how that works. It's all kind of still in limbo, to be honest with you. So I'm not really sure if that's going to work for everybody or if we're going to have to meet people with coupons. It's going to be a work in progress the first few weeks, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. All right, so let's now hear from Deborah Bermel, or Bermel, however I pronounce that. Are you there, Deborah? No, I don't think so. Diana Grimshire is next. So she doesn't have a microphone, but is from the Nicola Valley Farmers Markets and has said that they've had 2 markets and things are going okay so far. So Donna Kay.
Hello, can you hear me if I speak on the phone?
Hi. Yep.
Hi. Yes, I'm speaking on behalf of the Barrier Farmers Market. Tomorrow will be our 3rd market, and the first 2 have gone really well in spite of all the changes. Although I must say it is smaller because we don't have our crafters there. But on the whole, very positive and very great excitement on the part of the customers for the market opening up again.
Good. Thanks, Donna. Now let's hear from Greg.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, our market is going well. My name is Greg Unger. I'm the manager of the Kamloops Farmers Market. This is my 4th year with it now. Yeah, no, things are going well. Certainly miss the crafters. Certainly miss the live music. Certainly miss the kids playing in the park. But it is what it is. And everybody who comes to the market is pretty happy about being there. It was touch and go for a bit, but we're really happy that we're able to operate, and we're just doing our best to make sure we follow all the guidelines.
Great. Thanks, Greg. All right. So next we have Helen. So I'll unmute you, Helen.
Hello, I'm Helen from Grand Forks, the Grand Forks Farmers Market. I belong to the Boundary Community Food Bank, and so we serve all our clients. I went down to the market recently. I was very, very impressed. They had it laid out wonderful, so you weren't close to anybody. They had a lovely stand for washing your hands. And now we're just waiting for our coupons. Our clients last year were extremely happy and kept on saying, "What, are we doing this again? Are we doing this again?" So great excitement in this area.
Awesome. Thanks, Helen. And I've just got a message from Darcy, whose microphone wasn't working. So Darcy is from Kamloops Immigrant Services. Haven't got the coupons yet. No, we haven't sent them out. We'll update you on that. And they were part of the study last year and this year. So apparently the survey was a success. So we're happy to hear that for sure. So next up, we'll hear from Janet. You there, Janet Brown?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you call my
Oh,
name.
yep. Your
Hi,
turn.
I'm Janet Brown. I'm from the Okanagan Boys and Girls Club in Penticton. And so far, Penticton is advertising an online only market. So I'm very curious to try and get some answers around how this might work regarding coupons. Yeah.
Yeah, and a little spoiler, it will work. We'll give you the details today.
Okay, that's good. The participants have had a ton of questions already, and it was just like, I have no answers yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Janet.
Thank you.
All right, so next let's hear from Jeanette. You there, Jeanette? Maybe not. Thought I heard something. So Joanna?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Hello, hi.
Hi.
It's Joanna Hurst here. I work for Yellowhead Community Services, and we have a lot of changes in our community this year in Clearwater. I've got an echo. That's what's distracting me. Anyways, I'll just keep going. We have been the community partner for the nutrition coupon program for a few years. This year we are also the market, so we have an interesting kind of dynamic there where we're doing both ends. So kind of looking forward to seeing how that's going. Our market has moved this year. We have a new location, so there's been a lot of changes going on the market end. But so far things are going well. We've had I guess probably 3 markets now. We've started on May 2nd, and things seem to be going well. Lots of interest in the community about the market, and lots of people calling in wanting to get signed up for the coupon program again. So we're working on that right now. And one of the other differences that's going to happen this year on the community partner end is that we are going to be distributing coupons at the market. So when we receive the coupons, so I'll package them up right away into envelopes for each participant by week, so that there's less handling of the actual paper coupons. And because I'm at the market every week now, I will just give them to the participants when they come to the market. So that'll help with reducing the face-to-face time, especially since a lot of our programs are reducing that time anyways because of the COVID stuff. So yeah, that's just the update from our end.
Thanks. And what a first year to run a market. Okay, so let's hear from John now. Are you there, John?
Yeah, my name is John Rankin from the Salvation Army Food Bank in Penticton. And as Janet has mentioned, yeah, it's online only. I don't know a lot about it yet. And we're going to distribute our coupons here at the food bank and also assist where needed by delivering them and delivering groceries and things like that. So interested in hearing all the information. I've been involved for a few years, but only indirectly. So this year I'm going to be directly involved. So interested in what you all have to say.
Great.
Hey, Talia.
Yes.
One thing, just because John from Penticton, we had someone else from Penticton. I just popped on the Facebook page for the Penticton Farmers Market and posted under an hour ago is a note that says planning is underway to reopen our outdoor market in a healthy and safe way that will allow for social distancing. So I think Penticton, you'll have an in-person market by the time the coupon program starts.
Sounds great.
Awesome. That's great news. Okay, so let's go to Cara now.
Hi. I am Kara Aylard. I'm from KCR Community Services in Kelowna, and we are handing out coupons in our Family Services Department for the Kids Count program, which is 33 families, and Family Friend program, which has 17 families.
Awesome, thank you. And now Kristen.
Hi, it's Kristen from Seniors Outreach in Kelowna. Yeah, the market's been going, but we've been pretty busy. We became the local hub for the seniors 2-on-1 emergency response. So we've been swamped with isolated seniors right now. So we haven't really had a chance to do too much prep, but this will become my new project. People are still asking about it, but one big question will be, what is your capacity to get out to the market this year? As far as I know, it's still running normally, except for crafters, etc. And yeah, I'm just interested to see what seniors are actually going to want to frequent the market this year. And if a lot of people are saying no, then we're going to try and work out somehow to have volunteers go and do the shopping and then just drop off the produce and whatnot to the clients, because we've had a huge influx of volunteers. So yeah, it's nothing is set in stone, and we're just going to roll with it as the different circumstances dictate. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, great, thank you. All right, so Laverne, let's hear from you.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes. Yep.
Okay, awesome. My name is Laverne Henry. I work with Intergovernmental Child and Family Services, and we are in Lytton. Our company works with 6 bands in our community, in our surrounding communities, and so far I've been contacting the bands and talking to the persons that need to be involved in trying to find out who we can give our coupons to. And you can't see me, but my hands go up to you, and thank you so much for upping our amount from 8 to 10. I know that with the families, like, we're giving one to an elder and one to a family with like 2 or more kids. So, and like the previous ones that I've stated, that people are asking, well, when are you doing this and when are you going to get started? So they're excited about it, and I'm looking forward to we're going to be delivering, and it's what we have been doing, is delivering to our community members the coupons. So thank you so much. Home Relations.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Laverne.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so next up we have Marlene.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Yep.
Hi. I'm a partner from the Salmon Arm, a Shoe Shop Family Center. This is brand new to me this year. I have never done it before. I'm learning very fast. We have a lot of people signed up, and the markets are already open, but we are working remotely. We are not open. So it's going to be difficult giving out the coupons. I still haven't quite figured it out how we're going to do it, but it's going good.
Hopefully today we give you some inspiration. So thanks, Marlene. Next up we have Michelle. Nope, no, Michelle.
Oh, yeah, I'm here. Sorry,
Oh, you are here. Okay, great.
I didn't hear my name. I'm Michelle Swan. I'm from the Lytton Food Bank, and our partner is the Two Rivers Farmers Market, which hasn't started yet. So yeah, I don't know how things are going to go this year, but the food bank is definitely busier. And I heard Laverne on there. So Laverne, we need to connect sometime before we start handing out coupons.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Michelle. So next up we have Sandy. Yep, Sandy, you should be unmuted now. Maybe not, that's okay. Next up we have Sarah.
Hello,
Hi.
was that for Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we haven't gotten started yet with our physical market. We've got our online market going, and we've got a delivery spot separate from the regular market set up. So we're just kind of getting that started in the next couple of weeks. And I have a meeting right after this one with our farmers market board to talk about our physical market, and we're really happy to be part of the coupon program again for this year. And I had some ideas for just kind of other ways for people to access them, and like, I guess before COVID happened, but I think it will be useful for that. I think we're going to have someone at the market this year just to help getting as many people coupons as we can, and then also having them at the band offices this year. So yeah, we're looking forward to being part of it again, and I'm really excited for everything to kind of get started this month is the plan.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah.
Sarah, I don't know. Sarah,
sorry.
I don't know if you said this, but you're from Lillooet, is that right?
Sorry?
I don't know if you might have said this, but you're from Lillooet, is that right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
And I hope it's all right I joined this call. Whenever I look at how I fall into which category, I'm never sure which one Lillooet falls into, because we're sort of close to everything, but not really part of it.
Yeah.
Division. And so yeah, so I just picked this one because it works well, because I have the meeting with the market board right after this. So
great. Good timing.
Yeah.
All right, so Susan's next, and I can see from her in chat, she's from the Salmon Arm Community Market and has been doing this for quite a while. Next up, let's hear from Tracy Franklin.
Hi, Talia. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I'm Tracy. I'm from the Access Center in Penticton. We got our numbers up this year as well, and I've already pretty much filled all the slots again. Looking forward to learning a lot today, because yeah, not quite sure how this is all going to work. I know that some of our clients, regardless of if our market goes live or not, are not going to be able to make it to the market this year, just due to health issues and that sort of thing, and also access for other reasons. So looking into maybe figuring out a delivery system for those folks. My original plan had been to hand out coupons at the market this year, but I don't know if I'm going to be doing that, because yeah, our office isn't even open right now, so we're all working remotely.
Yeah, it's a pretty common theme. All right, thanks, Tracy. Next, Tracy Higgins. Are you there, Tracy Higgins? Not Tracy Franklin. Okay, maybe not. And then lastly, we have Trisha.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, yep.
Hi, I'm Trisha. I'm from the Dragonfly Pond Society in Penticton. So we're a partner with the Penticton Farmers Market, and we distribute coupons to our membership families who have children with disabilities and or complex care needs. So definitely they appreciate the support from this program. This is our second year. We participated last year for the first time, and it was an amazing support for our families. It was very much appreciated and made a big difference for a lot of them. And I already have 12 people signed up before I've even put anything out there really to families or started formal registration. So there's definitely a lot of families this is going to make a big difference for this spring. So I'm sure our market is amazing. So I'm sure they've got a great plan in place to figure things out, and I look forward to working with them.
Great, thank you. And I can see Sandy has just said that they've switched to phone, so let's just quickly unmute Sandy for an intro.
Hi, excuse me, are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't seem to have a working mic on my computer. My name is Sandy Wetterstrom. I'm with the Clearwater Farmers Market, and you've already heard from our community partner, Yellowhead Community Services, who has been our partner for, this is going on to our 6th year, and they have now taken over as managers of our market. So we're a bit of a transition, new managers and a new location, but after 3 markets, we're sailing along. Everything seems to be going smoothly. I've done it for 6 years here, and I did it for 3 years in Houston. And yeah, we're looking forward to a good season, and waiting to welcome back our crafters. And so far, everything is good.
Great, thanks, Sandy. All right, so I've just put up on the screen how long people have been part of the program. So we've got lots of seasoned veterans in the mix, but a couple of newbies. So hopefully we can answer some of the questions you might have, no matter how long you've been in it for this year. So I'm going to hide my webcam, and we'll go over to Peter now. All yours.
Sure. And yeah, and I'll just one last before we get started. I see there might have been some people that joined the call after we started introductions. If we didn't get to you and you have a mic, raise your hand, and then I'll see if there's anyone that's in that situation. Janet Brown, I see your hand is up. Let's see, Janet Brown, I've unmuted you. If that was if you have a chance to
No,
if you
I
wanted
think
to say.
I took my hand down, but maybe I did not.
Okay, I'll put you, there you go, hand is
All
down.
new.
I've got to see it up here. Okay, Adrian Pullen, I'm going to unmute you, and you're unmuted.
Hello. I'm sorry. I think I joined late because I couldn't figure out how to join at first, but I'm glad that you got me now. So I'm with Yellowhead Community Services in Barrier, and this is, I think, our 4th year with the program, and we've got 15 participants this year, which is the same as last, and it's a good number for our community. Been talking with our farmers market coordinator, and we are addressing the COVID situation in a number of manners. Our YCS office is still open with very limited staff, but we have reception there. So if participants wish, they can pick up their coupons there. Otherwise, they will be available at the market, and the farmers market vendors have agreed to pre-package things in appropriate dollar amounts so that everything's already bagged, so people can select what they want from a list of produce that is emailed out to everybody. And then we are also going to be offering pickup and delivery for those people as well.
Great, that sounds good. Thanks for that update. I see Susan Washington, you have your hand up, so I'm going to unmute you, Susan. You're unmuted.
Hi, Peter.
Hi.
Yeah, lots of challenges this year for this market, and I've moved locations as well, so it should be interesting. It's really good to hear everyone's ideas, though. Thank you.
Great. And have you started operating already?
Actually, we've been delayed a few weeks. Last week I had a prairie get stung in the face, so she wasn't able to come, and then My garlic farmer, she was supposed to bring garlic to me and she broke both her legs the day before. So it's been quite challenging with with the COVID as well. So injuries. So we start this week and in the new location. Everyone in the community is very excited and just can't wait to get to market. So, which is pretty wonderful.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Let me just do one more check to see if anyone else has their hand up. I think we're good. And a few folks, if they didn't have a mic, they might have sent along their introduction as a question to us. Then I tried to post that back to the group so you'd see that. Now, the Magic technology, I'm going to try to share my screen. And Talia, will you let me know whether or not you see what you're supposed to see?
Yes, I see what I'm supposed to see.
Okay.
It's just the slideshow.
And okay, just the slide. Okay.
Yep, awesome.
Great. Okay, so yeah, so welcome to the orientation. It's again a bit unusual doing this not in person, and I kind of miss that. So, but we've come up with some of the same. We've got the same type of objective is for in the end that you who are operating this program will feel more comfortable operating this program, and also this is an opportunity for us to answer your questions as we go along and to learn how things are going, which then we can incorporate into the program this year. So switching slides. So with this being an online orientation, some of you have already sent in kind of like questions or answer or send in. You can send questions to us, Talia and I, and then we're going to do our best at each of our intervals, each of our sections to answer them. If it's something that's going to be answered in another section, we'll save it for then. And then we may also have some questions where we haven't considered that or we don't have a good answer, in which case we'll let you know that, but we'll put it on the list of things for us to get to the bottom of. All right, so let me see next slide. So with the amount of people on the call that this is not their first year, not their first time with the coupon program, you know this, but for those that are on here for the first time, it's just a little bit about the BC Farmers Markets Association. So we are a member-based nonprofit organization that oversees, supports, and promotes 145 plus member farmers markets all across the regions of British Columbia with objective that local food continues to thrive. We have objectives for the coupon program. Just reviewing those, even though again, most of you have heard this before, maybe more than once, just want to have that at the top of your mind as we try to accomplish this program. What is it that we want to see at the end of the day? So we want to increase access to healthy local food for low-income pregnant women's families with children and seniors in order to improve their health. Paired with that is our dual objective of improving the economic prosperity of British Columbia farmers who sell at BC farmers markets. So see, that's why this program exists where it does and why the designs we're making to it now to change for the current situation still continue to focus on those two core objectives. When it comes to the financial support, this is primarily funded by the province of British Columbia and the Provincial Health Services Authority through the Ministry of Health. There's Minister Dix. This was last year in May, sometime around now, on the right there, on your right. And at the announcement at the Vancouver Farmers Market last year. And they were announcing just an expansion of the program last year to an additional, I think 400 or 500 more people were coming in the program, and they are currently now in the works planning for announcement for the funding that allows us to operate the program this year. But you'll see they're not the only funders. They're the main funders, the anchor funder, the tenant, the anchor tenant of the coupon program, but we do have other funders. And we'll learn about that a little bit later too. But this is again, a refresher on how the program works. You know, on the side of the participants, the first thing that we are going to expect that our community partners to do is to sign up participants to be in the program. Talia will go into more detail about that in her section of how it works operationally. They sign up, then they receive coupons with you as a partner, who are partners on this call, are giving the participants coupons every week for 16 weeks. So you can't see it in, it's like an air quote around weekly. There is going to be some flexibility allowed for how often you give the coupons in order to match the access you have to people and how often you're able to manage that and how often they're able to manage that. So we'll have some flexibility allowed for that portion of the program. When it comes to the participants as well, we often select organizations that are supporting participants' food literacy needs. And that's why when in January we opened our renewal, that community partners came forward and said, yes, we're an organization that is involved with food literacy in our community. We'll work with participants to distribute coupons, and we have some opportunity to provide them with food literacy support. We realize that that'll be potentially relaxed this year, so we'll discuss that in a bit more detail where we can be flexible there as well. One thing though we'll ask you to continue to do, even though you might be doing it differently this year, is that there'll be still require some level of checking in and supporting people to be successful in the program. So looking at ways that they're experiencing any barriers, ways that they can be more successful. You as a community partner plays such a critical role in making sure that they can actually have a very successful program and meet the objective of being able to improve the health of themselves and their family. On the farmers market side, with the farmers, you know, it's fairly that everything's going to operate the ways it did last year with a few little flexible twists here. So the participants are going to shop. They'll be able to do that online or in person. It'll be for the same type of eligible items, and the farmer will be reimbursed. The farmers markets will pay the farmers and for the coupons that are redeemed properly, and the funds will come from the BC farmers markets. So by the time the program starts in June, we would have beamed money into all of the farmers markets bank accounts, so that you can have those funds waiting for you to reimburse vendors as they accept coupons. Side note, if any of you have had any banking changes, please let us know so that we can update it in our system. For example, Clearwater, they had change of management, as we heard on the call, with the partner stepping in to take over the program. We've already got that sorted for them to update the Clearwater Farmers Market where the money is directed so it goes into the right account. If that's new for you, let us know and we'll make that change. Otherwise, it'll be similar to last year. So the timeline for 2020, when does it start? When does it end? So you can see that our first day that coupons can be used at a market or an online store will be June 8. So I think on this call, Ingrid, that's in Vernon, your market is open on a Monday. You're likely going to go first this year with accepting coupons. And the date that we usually end the program is in late October. We had moved it out to the end of October last year. We've actually moved it out now to the middle of November, to the 15th. Because of this year, we agreed to give more time for coupons to be redeemed. There will still be 16 weeks worth of coupons that each person in the program will be able to get, but they'll have something like 24 weeks that they can redeem it over. So the coupons, here's a look at what they look like this year. So there's three things rather. They have the same shape as last year, that they're stacked like that in a perforated. The second thing is that the design is completely different. The color is slightly different. The look of them is different. That helps reduce there from any other coupons being in circulation being provided at farmers markets. And the third thing is we spent a lot of time reflecting on the feedback that there's one coupon last year that was instructions on how to use it, how to use the coupons. We've eliminated that information and simply stated on the back of that little piece that it's not a coupon. And then we've also made the front, instead of having any information about the program, that's the tab that the community partner retains. So up there you can see, community partner retain this for administrative purposes. This allows you to count at the end of the week how many were distributed. You might use it because you've written down the date and the number. If someone finds the coupons in the community or at the market, they can be reunited with the person who got them, or if there's a question about how someone's using it, the serial number will be on each of the coupons and also on that piece. So you'll be able to say like, oh, I'm gonna have to follow up with Peter about using those coupons at a market where they're not in the coupon program because the manager contacted me, and so that's for you to take. So you when you give this out, that's the piece you keep. That's a slight design change there. Also new in 2020, we and Greg, you're on the call. I'm calling out Greg Unger because he was participating in a meeting we had of the Farmers Market Nutrition Coupon Program Advisory Committee. A few managers, a few program coordinators, some of the funders come together, and we talk about how the year went and any ideas to change things up. And we had a discussion about how in some markets all of the signs are up at all of the eligible vendors booths. Some of the markets, not all the signs are up. And when a participant goes, even if they know that they can buy any carrot that's within the market, they sometimes feel more comfortable buying them from those who have up the sign, or they're unsure if they're welcome to shop there. Is there a reason the farmer didn't put up the sign? Would they prefer not to have coupons? So while we will encourage markets to still ensure that all of the signs are up at vendors' stalls that accept coupons, we're going to provide each market with a flag. This is the design that's underway. We might change a little bit about the look and the wording, but each market will be able to put this up at the entrance to their market. And then the participant can, the partners can tell the participants if the flag, your market is the Kelowna market, they're going to have the flag up at the market. That means any vendor in there, even if they didn't put their sign up, will accept coupons. It's just one way we wanted to improve equity, inclusion, and making people feel confident about the using the coupons at any vendor in the market. And again, shout out to Greg, because I think that was his idea as we were in the small groups thinking, would that be something we could try? So we're going to give it a try this year. Another thing that's new for some markets, we're going to be providing a coupon counter. So see, that's the exact model there, taken from the Amazon listing where I purchased them, and have now delivered to me 20 coupon counters, probably flagging my address as a place for money laundering. However, we'll be shipping these out to those markets that are handling upwards of 500 to 1,000 coupons at certain points in this season, because we saw that was a very labor-intensive process, and we figured, would a $56 investment in a coupon counting machine cut down your time in managing this program? So you'll have these to try this year. We demoed them last year at the office and at the Vancouver Farmers Market, and Talia, you used it a few times. What was your experience with it?
Yeah, I think they were pretty good once you got the hang of them. Yeah, it was definitely good when we had some boxes come in where it was just an entire month, so I could just check the thousands of them. I'll share some little tips once we get them out, because there are a few little things that you might just want to make sure you're keeping track of. But yeah, I thought they were pretty useful.
Good. So next slide I've got up here is that something that's continuing in 2020 is we had last year, we had some part-time support of regional coordinators. So if you notice, this is kind of the, we're kind of in the interior region. So there isn't a regional coordinator pegged to your region. However, in the lower mainland, the island, and the Kootenays, we've got someone who's going to support us about 10, 12 hours a week, checking in on markets and partners and supporting them and being successful. Monica was with us last year and doing that. Those of you who were at the conference may have met Monica and also Marcus from Vancouver Island, who are returning for their second year. And in the Kootenays, we have Livia Lara, who some of you may have met in the past if you've attended a conference, as she's been the manager of the Cranbrook market for 4 years. And she's passed the baton over there and is going to be joining us as a regional coordinator. We really think those positions are helping us now as our program is in 80 markets versus when we first started, it was only something like 20. It means it's harder for us to give full attention to everyone. This allows Tali and I to work more focused on other regions while they focus on these regions. But truth be told, over this last month or so, when we've been trying to get to the bottom of how are you all doing during the situation, Monica and Marcus have shadowed onto other regions. So we might keep them up where they actually have some other regions they also check in on too. Yeah, so we've got those coordinators coming. And okay, yeah, was that right? So now, before I get into this, FMNCP and COVID-19 changes at markets, changes for partners, I was going to switch to another presentation to tell you about what last year looked like and the results of that. So I'm going to do that, but I'm going to stop. And Talia, do you have any questions that have come up that are fitting into this section?
Yep.
I
So
see
we've had a question, what age is considered a senior? So we don't actually prescribe that. That's up to you. Whatever works for your organization and your organization's needs and your participants' needs can count. So we have seen some people, you know, get coupons as a senior even though they're not the typical 65 years or over, because maybe they're living in seniors housing or something like that. So that's up to you. Same with lower income. We don't have a number for those.
And I see Carmen was from the was asking, is it that Peter and Talia are supporting the interior? That's correct.
Yep.
As far as like your main contacts. Ingrid said, OMG, I'm so excited with this, a coupon counter, yippee. And then also from Susan Washington saying that the flag is a fantastic idea. And I think, Tracy, you might have been laughing at the fact that I'm being flagged as money laundering. So I think that's what that was about. So, okay, I'm gonna see if I can do this seamlessly here, which is to share a different presentation. Okay, sharing but not shared properly yet. Let me get to that. Okay, is that, no, show. Stop showing screen. Oh, not that. Was that it, Talia? I think so,
Yep.
hey?
Yep, you did it.
Okay. All right, so this is just some details about the coupon program. And two things, this recording itself is being recorded. well, we're actually doing this about 6 times. We'll probably choose the best one, you know, like maybe, yeah, we'll choose the best one that represents us, explaining everything as, you know, best we can. So you'll be able to refer to it, but also these presentations will be going up as well. So you can come back to look at them again, or if you have some other folks on your team or stakeholders or vendors or participants you want to show this information to, you'll have access to it on our ever full, always informative partner portal, something you should put a bookmark for, as it'll be a place where if you ever feel if there's something that you need support on the coupon program, head to the portal. Things like this will be there. So off we go with this. So the first, I want to give you a sense of how we told you the Ministry of Health and PHSA funding since 2012. So that's when the program started, with just maybe 14, 15 spots. It's been accumulated almost to just under $10 million so far. This year, our budget for 2020 is 1.88 million. It's actually just a little bit more because we had some of the funds from the previous year that, if they're not used, we roll them in. So it allowed us to do where a couple of folks said we got some more allocation. Where there were requests, we were able to accommodate some small bumps. And then while it says there's confirmed program funding until December 31st, 2020, so that means this year, but that's it. We have an announcement for this money for this year. There's also some work underway that we would be in a good position to have this program in place for also 2021. When it comes to the funding for the coupon program, though, in 2019, last year, as I saw, it was 1.88 million this year, 1.57 this last year, so about 3.1 million more. No, 37, 1.5, well, 3.31 million. So I guess $300,000 more this year. Yeah, sorry, I'm doing the math in my head. And we had last year other funders supported the program with $360,000, giving us that total down there. Last year there were 2 things that made that number that level that aren't going to be present this year. So in the Columbia Basin Trust, they were providing funding, so they're still on board. That's great. They also offered us additional funding of $20,000 because they knew there was going to be greater need. Community fundraising and sponsors, that actually is going to be bigger than it was last year, because we're seeing some communities have had, even unsolicitedly, they've received funding to support more people in the coupon program because of the fact that this is supporting people who are in greater need. Others have applied for, even some of the programs across the province have received funding from federal pots of money that have come out from Justin Trudeau, you know, weeks ago, about there'll be more money for food security. It mostly went to food banks, but some of it went to the Vancouver Foundation and a farmer's market. A partner in a community applied and got funding for more coupons. So we're seeing that there's the capacity for there to be more funding in the program. So just put that in the back of your mind. If there's room, if there's space, and there's need for you to have more funding in your community, let us know, and we can provide you with some resources, some tools, some data, some facts, some figures, some stories, some pictures for you to do your own community fundraising, should there be appetite and capacity to do so. Then Fresh to Families Fund, that's in the Vancouver area. It's been supporting about 100 families every year for the last 3-4 years. It's grown to 100. Whole Foods gave about $36,000 to that. However, they shuffled the decks on how they provide funding, and so that funding source was lost. So the Fresh to Family Funds is able to manage about half of what they got last year. And so we're looking at creative ways to still support those participants. The BCAFM Donor Fund, where someone can make a donation, receive a charitable tax receipt, that's still going well. In fact, in the last 3 weeks, we had 3 or 4 people making $250 donations. They were through no prompting of our own. It was something that was important to them, and they made a donation for their community. And then in 2019, we had the CIHR research project. It provided support for about 150, 180 new participants to be in the program for purposes of the study. And that doesn't exist this year, so that funding won't be in place. So you can see the progression of how we, as soon as the Ministry of Health said, we're really happy with people supporting this program so that it can be leveraged up. We've had some good leveraging up. Again, 2019 was unique. We don't expect to hit that peak or have it grow much this year. However, it has gone quite a bit over the years. So in 2019, we had 13 new communities. I wonder if there's anybody on the phone. There might be some folks on the phone that for whom this was relevant. That was a big expansion in 2019. We have no new communities this year. There were about 6 applicants, but we just didn't have the space because the way our funding was, while there is more, the focus was on 2 factors. One, to ensure that folks in the CIHR study were able to continue in the coupon program, even without the CIHR funding. So we had earmarked funding so that they could continue. And I forgot the second thought, or the second factor of that. Do you remember what I said yesterday, Talia? If you do, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just have to carry on. So where we focused our money, right? And the other thing was we had our partners were asking for more capacity, so we focused on our existing partners. Okay. Oh, that's my dog, and someone must have come to the door. So Gracie, it's okay. It's not the raccoons. So this year though, with there being 13 new communities in 2019, we're actually seeing fewer communities in 2020. We'll talk about that in the impacts a little bit later. So the number of communities that we have this year is 78. That was last year. This year it's going down a little bit. And the number of community partners gone down. It's probably going to stay the same. This was last year how many households were enrolled. However, with this year's funding, we expect that the number of households enrolled will be over 6,000. The number of pregnant women enrolled was a big jump because we had a deliverable from the Ministry of Health to increase the number of pregnant women over 2 years. So we were able to do that. And then when it comes to the program reach total individuals, that has gone up quite a bit since last year, and we again expect that to go up another, it'll probably get closer, 15, 16, it'll be just under 20,000 individuals who will be able to benefit from this program by receiving coupons and eating the food that these coupons are able to buy. Another thing we've been tracking at the request of the ministry and even out of our own interest is to see what our Indigenous participation across the province. And so you can see that I think that's been consistent over the last 2 years. It's about a quarter of the participants in the program identify as Indigenous in one of those 3 categories. Another factor we kind of keep a look at with where we had a bit of a jump in the amount of people involved with the program last year, we were able to keep our redemption up fairly high in the 90s. So we're curious to see what 2020 will bring with it being things will be changed up for how participants are accessing markets and whatnot. So we'll be curious to see what that number will look like this year. Now, another thing that we've been calculating a bit more, and there'll be some survey results that I can share with you about the farmers from a survey we took this year, is that we had just 1,165 farmers and producers who accepted coupons. And that's after we eliminate for farmers who sell at multiple markets. We only count them once. So we're not boosting the numbers by counting the cheesemaker that's at 12 markets, but rather we only count them once. That's 185 more than the year before. And so we're really happy that that's the case. We had those 13 new communities, so that's one of the reasons why there's unique farmers that are selling at their markets, and that the participants reported that they spend an average of $10 of their own money each time they shop. And so when you look at the amount of money that came from coupons, 1.4 million, another 500,000 came from participants buying additional items at the farmers market. So we know those are big numbers, and so we're happy to see that because that fulfills a second objective of the program. Part of the program, we ask you to survey participants and send those results to us. Just a few slides. Ministry is always pleased when the program result is that 99% of the participants ate more fruits and vegetables as a result of this program. This year we asked another question. Did you continue to eat more fruits and vegetables after the program ended? And that's where we see a drop off after the 16 weeks. Do you eat less fruits and vegetables? So we see that having the program really is providing a level of access. So we've got that information anecdotally. We'll also be getting that from the CIHR study. When it comes out, it will have surveyed those 150 participants who are in the program, and they're following up with them just in the spring this year after they've been out of the program to determine what has been their actual change of behavior after the program ends. And that'll be more of that'll be a rigorous academic study. We asked this as a new question on what do you usually spend your coupons? So we got more of a spread of what people are reporting they're buying at the markets. So veg and fruit are leading, and not surprising, meat and eggs are right on their tail. And this year we did a survey of farmers. We got probably 400 or 500. I meant to look at that yesterday, but 400 or 500 farmers responded. We asked them what did they sell. So you can see there, vegetables and fruit are still at the top. Only less than a quarter of the farmers have meat, or very few have dairy, seafood, and nuts. And when it comes to other, that might be that they have some value-added products or crafts that they have at their table as well. We asked them what percentage of market day income is from coupons, because when we know that there's just under $2 million that comes into farmers' pockets across the province, what does that make up of their daily total? For the most part, over half of them, it's less than 10% of their take for the day, but there are some for whom it is a substantial amount. With even 10% of them are getting between 30 and 50% of their coupons are what is their income. We also were curious about how far did you travel to get to this market, and so you can see the results there. And then we also asked them, does this coupon program influence your decision to attend the market? And so we have some good information there too, because we know that for some farmers, they're coming to the market anyway. It's just the way they operate their business. There are some farmers for whom the coupon program has been an attractant for them to be at or stay at or expand their role in farmers markets. A couple of other things that also were around in 2019. This one is going to be new, the new normal for this year is that a partner organization, the Food Skills for Families, operates in-person classes to support low-income families, or even they have some curriculum for the Indigenous community and for seniors and for newcomers and Punjabi community. They ran workshops for us since 2013, and in 2019 you can see there's a big drop. They ended up moving out from under the wings of Canadian Diabetes and Diabetes Canada rather, and they moved into under the Provincial Health Services Authority. So based on that, they weren't operating as fully as they were last year. And then this year, the bigger blow is because they aren't able to actually operate their in-person classes at all at this moment. So the numbers will probably also be fairly low for this year for food skills for families as a complement to the partners food skills component. And then the research project I mentioned, and they're still in the part of finalizing the data, and we expect in 2022 that there will be the results will come out. At the conference, we had a chance for them to give us some anecdotal stories about the impact of the program on participants, and it was very touching and aligned with what you hear every day from participants and farmers about how the program affects them. So that's that. I'm going to stop for a second sharing my screen. Talia, I haven't looked to see, are there any questions that have come up? Okay, I don't see any. Now let me go back to my other presentation. Got it, okay. So, and here's the just so you know how's it going on the call. I'm going to go through this, and then there'll be a chance to take a break. We'll actually leave the conference call, the webinar open, but have a 15-minute break so you can go stretch your legs, use the facilities, get a fresh cup of tea or coffee. So that's coming up in a few minutes. So with farmers markets across the province, no surprise to you if you live in the community, you live in a community where there is a farmers markets, you've seen that they're being modified and that they're also going online or a combination of both. So when they're modified, there's a laundry list of how to do that safely. But the gist of it is markets are only able to have food vendors only, and physical distancing is required. So all of those things have been tweaked quite a bit. In my community in Westminster, for several weeks, they weren't allowed to have more than 50 people in the market space that was kind of cordoned off at one time. They've changed that to say you can have as many people in there that allow for everyone to be a safe distance, so they can actually have more people in there. So each week there are things that are changing, but that's the gist of it. The food vendors only is what's reality now, but from some indications we've been getting from the folks who look after this, they kind of got restaurants sorted so that they can open starting now if they make modifications. So in your communities, there might be some restaurants that have in-person dining starting yesterday. They're now we would be close to next when it comes to making some revisions to the provincial health officer's order to allow some more flexibility at the type of vendor to be at farmers markets. So for those of you who operate markets, we'll get in touch with you once we have some news about an adjustment to the orders. There are some farmers markets for whom there's been a bigger impact, and some of those are related to the coupon program. Some of them are related to just how they saw the season going. So in Langley, their farmers market won't be operating in person, and they had already kind of decided to pull the plug on the market earlier in the year. When they put pencil to paper, the math wasn't working. The income they got, the customers they got, the vendors they got, it just wasn't adding up. So they decided to put a pause for this year and regroup. They have reached out to us though to talk about maybe putting together something for this year because of the coupon program. and to support the community with food because there are farmers in that community. Roslyn as well, they agreed as a board not to operate this year. They just at the time they made that decision foresaw that it would be challenging to operate a farmers market under the conditions, so they're out. There's some markets that are currently have indicated that they're online only, so that's true in Souk, in Terrace, Fraser North, which is formerly known as Haney Farmers Market, and Port Coquitlam, and Surrey. In most of those instances, they've indicated that they're operating online only until the situation changes. So that could change sometime this year. And just like a dose of reality of how this whole situation is affecting local businesses. We know that people are either out of work or the businesses are finding it difficult. Maybe some won't reopen. And while farmers markets are operating, it's truth be told, there's that the amount of income versus the expenses, which are, so the income has gone down quite a bit because they have fewer vendors and can have fewer types of vendors and fewer vendors at one time, and their costs associated with running a market can go up if they need extra staff or volunteers. Markets are in a precarious situation right now as organizations, while the farmers themselves might be doing okay. So I just want to keep that in mind, that we want to do what we can to support the markets so that they can weather this certain situation. Another thing, this came from a colleague of mine sending around a newsletter, and one of the things that we're aware of, that this program kind of pushes up against the fact that, you know, in a pandemic, there isn't time to work on equity, diversity, and inclusion. And you know, and say, oh, let's focus on it when we get back to normal. That's certainly the case. Like at my municipality, it's like emergency stuff only. The stuff that was in our strategic plan, we're just putting it on hold, and considering it like, you know, just the garnish to the main meal, and that this isn't real work. But I think that with the coupon program, what we're doing is, this is the real work. And so there'll be some things we'll talk about in the way things have changed, where we'll be explaining things to you that we want to see continue as ways to make the market equitable and inclusive. So some of that comes to up with farmers markets. They're early on, and I don't know if this is true at any markets that are on the call today. There was a request for all transactions should be, you know, just pull out your card and tap. We don't want to, you know, we want to avoid handling cash, and certainly with the coupons, they're physical coupons, they are going to exist in this year. We wanted to ensure that markets have vendors accept coupons and cash, and so that's one thing we're putting out there, and certainly from our own provincial health officer in the BC CDC, they have indicated that accordingly that handling cash does not pose any risk of passing on the virus. And so we're like, that should be. Tali will talk about ways that if someone feels like they want to have some protective measures, that they can do that, but not to say only, you know, like I really don't want to handle coupons or cash. We want to move away from that into the, you know, you can ask people to favor one versus the other, but there are significant population that doesn't have access to banking and ability to have cards and things like that. Another thing that markets are doing or looking at, we're asking them to consider is, you know, a lot of times markets had places for people to sit down, shaded spots, and this has all been eliminated at this point. So consider what you can put into place for people who can have either special priority entry or those with mobility issues. So keep that in mind, because not only folks who receive coupons, but people in the community are going to be in the same boat of needing some extra consideration. So see what you can install that still complies with the provincial health officer's orders. And another thing that's come up too is we've seen that in some chatter on some conversations about what about families who bring kids. We're telling everyone just one shopper per family so we can get more people into the market. And so we realized that might be a desire to say like, okay, if 3 people from a family go in, I have to hold 3 people until those people leave to get into the market, and that slows things down. Just want to be aware that some folks don't have a choice on whether or not they shop with other people. They may need assistance. They may not have anyone who can look after the kids. They can't afford to pay a babysitter. They have to, and so we want you to be mindful that that could be the lived experience for some people, and therefore to allow that without any stigma or judgment, that they're supported to shop the way they need to. Because again, it may be true for coupon participants, but it'll be true for everybody in your community. So talk a bit about online shopping. Yes, many markets, in addition to offering their modified markets, also have an online shop. And most are using the same platform that's been funded by the Ministry of Agriculture. In that case, and Talia will show you how, we have worked with them to build a solution so that coupons can be used. So Talia will go over that in a little bit more detail. If your market is using a different platform other than the one that's funded by the government, called Local Line, that's the company, we ask you to include an option to pay with coupons. And in talking with some of them that I know about, they feel that that's possible to pay with coupons, or to say that you'll pay upon pickup and then they will be able to use the coupons then. So keep that in mind if you're a market, that's something to look at if you're not using Local Line. If you're using Local Line, they'll be pushing that out to you, and we'll ask you to ensure that all vendors have turned that on if it's not turned on automatically. We find that online online shopping at markets will offer sometimes some flexible pickups. So that pickups may be occurring at the market, right at the stall. It might be something where the farmer offers delivery, or it may be a pickup from a certain location. They might have a central location, or maybe up at their farm. And so we can accept that occurring this year, because we want people who have coupons to be able to shop at a farmer's market the way that farmers markets are asking all people to shop at them, and that's online or in person. And if they have a vendor, a farmer who's allowing for them to drop it off at their place, and that's an option for everyone else, it should be also available for the coupon participants. We're just asking that this introduces an opportunity for some folks to do things like buy things that are on the farmer's list that are not eligible items, or not the fruit, veg, meat, nuts, cheese, herbs items. And then they're like, okay, if we don't do it in the container of the market where there's other farmers and vendors and market managers and other participants and community members watching, I can't get away with handing over some non-eligible items, but I can do it because it's online. We're going to ask the markets to ensure integrity of the program by introducing an audit process. So Talia will also touch on this a bit more too, but there are opportunities for you to say, when you submit coupons for online orders, you can attach the order to the coupons, so then we can just look to see that, yeah, you're a meat vendor with eggs, and your blue coupons add up to the amount the meat is for, and the green coupons add up to what the eggs were for, etc., etc. So you can have that done all the time. You can tell them that you're going to ask for it occasionally, so just in a way that helps us have confidence that the program is operating the way it needs to operate. So turning our attention to our community partners, some of you have told us on the phone that your office or program is closed. Some of you have said you're operating as per usual, or even more per usual than you used to before. So if you figure that the best way to connect with people is by mailing the coupons, you can do that. If you want to distribute them at the market, and that makes sense, because then there's opportunity to see people when your office is closed, but they don't have to make a second trip. that's okay too. If you've been giving out the coupons weekly, but connecting with people that frequently isn't possible as much anymore, you might want to change it to bi-weekly or monthly. Earlier on, someone said, can I just send them all their coupons at the beginning of the year? And Talia and I responded, that then eliminates the opportunity to maintain contact and check in with people. If you give it out every month, then you might lose touch with someone until the next time it is for them to pick up coupons. But you'll still have a connection again, just to say, have you experienced any barriers? Is there anything we can do to help make you successful? So we ask you to introduce ways to maintain contact, even if you change your distribution regularity. When it comes to skill building, we also understand that we have on our side extraordinarily relaxed expectations of what skill building will occur, which could be slim to none to you're still able to manage things. We expect that you're right now, because it's part of your core work, that you're likely have some things in place or thoughts in mind about how you're going to do this. So we welcome you having some creative options to support people in any skill building needs they have, and share it with us, because we can help share it with others, so that we can kind of have a community that helps support each other in coming up with interesting ideas on how to be successful in this new situation. Another thing that's a change, you may find that some folks who would normally be able to go to the market are now not going to be able to get to the market. They may be unable to go because transportation isn't available. Their health, they may find it too risky, or they feel anxious about going out to the market. So if folks are homebound or unable to travel, we are we envision that there may be more volunteer shoppers. There may be some more partners who are going to marshal forces and support people by helping combine orders and placing orders for participants and picking it up. The farmers markets might say, hey, we've got a few extra volunteers. Is there anyone that can't get to the market? We can get them an order list and send and bring them food, or maybe even the community right now, which has kind of fired up more capacity. There may be some community assets you can ask to support to do the shopping. So that's something that partners can do for participants, but markets, you might see that more, that it may not be the person themselves shopping, but someone on their behalf. And that's something that you may see as a change that will be because this year is unique. And I think I'm getting close to the end. Another thing, and Talia will talk about this a bit more too, the fruit and vegetable grants we would offer for partners to use in their skill building activities, so that you could do a canning class, or you might do like here's how to make some simple recipes from the farmers market demos. Those may not be able to occur this year. So we've paused the fruit and vegetable grant for this year, taken the money from that and a few other things, like the money, it costs a little bit less for us to do orientations online because you all have to have your own sandwich today rather than one we provided. So because of that, we've got some extra funds that we're putting into the transportation grant, knowing that some folks will need support to get to the market, and they may be taking buses, or if they're not able to take buses, there might be some other things. It may have been that people were carpooling and now people can't carpool, but someone may be able to go shopping at the market, or different people will use their own cars and you have to give more gas vouchers. So we'll be launching that fairly soon, that you can apply for that pot of money if there's a creative way for you to use that to support people to get to the market, to deal with the barriers. So I also want to say that everything we said at the moment was probably true for the moment, and that it's likely and subject to change. So we're all having to embrace change. The markets and the partners are subject to changes and tweaks. But one thing I'd like to encourage you to do is how to know what is happening in your community with your market and your partner is sign up for your market's newsletter. I sign up for maybe a dozen across the province. So I see when somebody says, hey, we're moving back into our old space and our hours are increased, and so I've got that news, and then I'm able to factor that into how I operate with that market. You can do that too as a program, as a partner, as the market, to learn how the other one's program operations are changing. Just being on those communications really helps. Even today, with saying that I was curious if there were any updates from the Penticton Farmers Market. Nothing on their website, but a Facebook post about an hour ago saying we're getting close to coming back to an in-person market. So I recommend you follow them on Instagram or Facebook or whatever social media channel they're on, because those are really fresh updates. And also, you're in the same community. Dr. Bonnie said you can be outside and that's fairly safe. You can maintain a nice distance and that's still safe. And even if you get closer, she said conversations under 10 minutes are really not risky. So I encourage you to talk to each other in person or on the phone if you're in the community, in order to kind of continue to modify with each other's changes as they're coming along, and keep us in the loop. As we know how people are coming up with creative solutions, we can share it out to other markets and communities, and make this program more successful. All right, then let's see. That ends my presentation. I think I turned off my screen, turned on my camera. And Talia, what's next? Are you on mute, Talia? Or I can't hear you anyway.
Yes, let's let's take a quick 15-minute break. So we'll come back at 1:15. And while we're on that break, I'm going to put another question up on the screen so you can answer that, which is, would you rather explore outer space or the ocean? So yeah, pick that, and we'll be back at 1:15.
Great. Thanks, everyone. See you in 15 minutes. Testing, testing.
Okay, so we'll start up again in just a minute. So I'm just going to close this now. And let's see. 32% outer space, 59% the ocean, 9% neither. Yep, that's totally valid. I would personally pick the ocean. I grew up on the coast. But I also watched the movie Underwater recently, and it was pretty scary. So maybe not. What about you, Peter?
We had this yesterday, and it was surprisingly more people were underwater, and there's a few more outer space today. I'm definitely outer space, but I imagine outer space to be like it is in Star Wars, like cool bars or interesting cities and that kind of mix of urban and nature in other environments. But I just noticed that they all seem to have atmospheres that support human life, regardless of where they go. But anyway, yeah, I'm more out. Yeah.
All right, awesome. So let's get going. I'm just going
And did you
to.
see there were two questions that came in?
Oh, okay. What do we got?
And one of them, Laverne Henry was asking, how does one do the online shopping? And so Talia is going to cover that. And then Helen from Boundary Community Food Bank Grand Forks asked about getting some more coupons, like they could use some more coupons. So if you are in need of more spots, please let us know. Right now we've allocated everything. However, some people are getting back to us and explaining their operations are smaller or larger, so we might be able to make adjustments. So that's that. And then I also wanted to, I don't know if I sent this to everybody, but Ingrid said there's a formula for figuring out how many shoppers you can have. So Ingrid, you don't have a mic, is that right? If anybody's interested in learning about that, if you're a market and you want to know about that, send it through as a question, and then we'll then connect you with Ingrid.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Hoping everyone can see it. I'm just going to turn off my camera. Is it visible? It looks like it should be.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm going to go through the operation side of things. So just the how-tos of the what's. So I'll be talking about just a little bit again about what stays the same and what changes, how you can orient and enroll your participants and vendors, some ways to handle coupons this year, reporting, food literacy, ideas, and then also the materials we have for you. So what stays the same? The target populations are still the same. So as we mentioned a little bit earlier when we got a question about it, we don't have any specific numbers or guidelines around what makes up lower income and, you know, how old is a senior, like what is their age. We leave that up to you. We want it to be flexible so the program can be as successful as possible. Eligible items remain the same. So green coupons can buy vegetables, fruits, eggs, dairy, cut herbs, and nuts. And then the blue coupons can be used for all of those items as well as meat and fish where that's available. Reporting is the same, so we'll still be asking you for weekly reports and your season end reports. In the same way, coupons will still need to be mailed back so we can do the audits. And anyone who sells eligible items at your market must accept the physical coupons this year for equity reasons. What's different? We have online stores, so coupons can be used as payment, and I'll show you some screenshots of that a bit later on. For distribution, we generally request that you give out coupons every single week, but that might be a little bit different this year. Food literacy, of course, will be limited to online and over the phone, depending on how things evolve over the next few months. None of us really have any idea what that might look like. One change we have made with the weekly reporting, while we do still want it, we are delaying the deadline by 1 week. So you can avoid touching coupons right away if you're like really concerned about that, or if you've just got a lot of other things going on because of the pandemic, then yeah, we're just giving you a bit more time to get that to us. And transport grants only, no fruit and veg this year. So let's start off with the farmers markets, orienting and enrolling your vendors. So as in every years, it is definitely recommended and encouraged to orient all of your vendors, even if they don't sell eligible items. So we do give you a vendor guide that you can use to give out to your vendors. It'll be a little trifold brochure this year that will have everything that your vendors need to know about what can be accepted, what to do, and how to accept coupons online will be in there too. What some markets will choose to do is they'll print out black and white copies of these to give out to vendors who don't sell eligible items. So just in case they're getting questions or they're a bit confused why they can't sell their bread or their honey or their flowers, they've got a piece of paper there to help them. So that's an idea that you can use. We're asking that you talk to vendors who have concerns about handling cash and physical coupons. We've got a few ways that you can deal with that. And then, of course, enroll all of your vendors who do sell eligible items. So it's the same form that we've used in previous years, where you just get them to provide their name, their business name, and contact details. They sign off to agree to accept coupons as per the guidelines. And then there's also an option for them to check the box if they want to receive communications from us, BC Farmers Markets, not just about the coupon program, but about vendor membership mostly as well. And then last but not least, obviously, you need to set up some kind of reimbursement system with your vendors. So whatever works for you works for us. We will send you an advance at the beginning of the season. It's about a third of what we expect you to redeem throughout the season. So that should get you started for the first bit of time. And then the weekly reporting is really important there because that's how we know when we need to send you some funds top ups. So it's really up to you how you do this. Some markets will do one big check at the end of the season. If your vendors are happy with that, then that's great. Others might do cash every week. Maybe you do a check every next week. If you have a debit machine, some places will even do like a refund and pay them that way. So whatever works for you and your vendors is good with us. So next up for partners, orienting and enrolling your participants. So the first thing you need to do is enroll your participants. It's the same form that we've used in previous years. We've just added and removed some stuff this year, so you can find that on the partner portal. You can print that off or send it to them electronically and get them to fill in those questions and just sort of agree that they know that this is for lower income folks and that they're in the target populations. Once you've enrolled everyone, stuff that might have been done as a group, like orienting them about the program, ensuring that they know how to shop safely at the market, just sort of letting them know where they can find the farmers market Facebook page, for example, to get a lot of live updates, how to use coupons online, all of those things that you would usually do as a group. It might be one-on-one, it might be over the phone now, but it's just important that you do explain to them the coupon program guidelines, some changes that might be at the market this year, some changes for your program in terms of in-person activities, and as always, just being really clear on what the eligible items are. So again, fruits, veggies, eggs, nuts, herbs, dairy, and then also meat and fish. And you can also let them know that this year, for those who are returning, if they see the flag at the farmers market, then they can shop at any vendor who sells eligible items, just in case someone's forgotten to put their sign up at the beginning of the market. So, on to handling the coupons and the program itself this year. We do expect that everyone will have limited face-to-face interactions with your participants. So you can distribute more weeks at a time. So what that looks like for you, it could be that you're mailing out 2 weeks at a time, even a month at a time if you're working with people who just really can't get to you. Some folks have suggested that they'll be doing drop-offs, so perhaps they're dropping other things off already and they can just include the coupons in with that. You could do scheduled pickup times. So a lot of the markets are doing this for their online ordering, where if your last name is from A to F, then you pick up your coupons from 10 to 11 and so on, whatever works for you. Obviously, you're getting a lot of guidance around this already, so just some things to keep in mind. I even heard from one person that they were planning to meet in a car park, hop out of their car, put the coupons on the ground in a bag, go back into their car, and then the other person would come out and pick up their coupons. Maybe you'd get flagged for money laundering just like Peter if you did something like that. And this was covered a little bit before, but you will be able to shop for participants this year if they're unable to make it to the market. So while there is a pandemic and everything is going on like that, there are definitely going to be, especially people like seniors, people who are immunocompromised, or perhaps they're on the front lines working and they just can't make it to the specific market times anymore this year. You can go and shop for them. So it could be the community partner doing that. It could be volunteers with the partner, or even volunteers with the market, or another group that supports your program might be doing things like this. So just definitely reach out to people in your community and find out if any of this driving around, dropping off of goods and services is already happening, because perhaps you can tap into that and share those resources. Which leads nicely into grants. So because we do expect that people will be trying to get around more often personally, and perhaps you will be doing big shops and drops for your participants, we will have more money in the transport grants again this year. There won't be fruit and veg vouchers because we don't expect you to be doing in-person food literacy activities. So that's all going into transport grants. Keep an eye on your inbox in early June. We'll send out the applications then. Basically, it's just a form that you fill in. You tell us who you are, how much you need. The transport grants are up to $300, I believe. That will stay the same, but we'll let you know if it's more or if it's less. And then just tell us what you're planning to use it for. So it's a pretty straightforward grant. We're not like a city or a ministry or anything like that. We just want to know what it is you're trying to do, so we can issue those funds to you. And sometimes it also gives us some good ideas to share with the rest of the group. So yeah, applications for that will go out sometime in early June, and then we will dispense checks as we're available to do that. Now, because your food literacy can't be in person, probably won't be in person, might be in person once or twice, depending on your organization and who you're working with. There's a few ideas that have come through the survey that everyone filled out earlier on this month and in April that you could try. So a closed Facebook group could be something that you set up. These are always pretty useful because most people are on Facebook and know how to use it these days. And you can close it and make it private, so it can just be your participants. They can share what they're cooking, they can send recipes to each other. You can also, if you're already on Facebook using this group, you can have a look at the farmers market page and see what they've got up in terms of who's going to be at the market this week, what's in season, those sorts of things. So that's one idea. Instead of giving out recipes in person when people pick up their coupons, if you're not doing that, perhaps you're emailing or texting out recipes or just sharing a few tips that way. what's in season is always a really good resource to use, and it can be quite fun to find a recipe that focuses on just one or two of the veggies or fruits that are in season in your area, so people can get inspired and write a good list for when they go to the market. If you're game and have the capacity, you could try and even host some online cooking classes. So maybe you do a live stream on Twitch, maybe you do a private Zoom meeting, maybe you use that closed Facebook group and use Facebook Live functionality. I envision someone cooking or explaining how to cook and then other people following along on video or even just having it on in the background. And those things can always be recorded. And I mean, if you don't have capacity to do that, there are 1,000,001 food blogs and YouTube channels that you might start looking into a bit more this year. And then, of course, chatting with people over the phone is always great, especially to see how they feel about the changes that you might be doing and just what they're up to, what they're doing with their food, how they're navigating the market, anything that they've noticed. It's really important to still stay in touch with participants, especially because you might not necessarily be seeing them every week anymore like you would have done in the past. So with farmers markets, with the management and handling of the program this year, if there are some vendors who have concerns, because we have heard that some places have gone completely cashless or some vendors just don't want to touch the coupons, it is really important that they still do for equity reasons. In an ideal world, we would have a completely electronic coupon program, but we're definitely not there yet. And even if we got there, not everyone necessarily has access to a bank account. So the physical coupons are really important to accept. Perhaps the vendor just has a box for coupons and cash to go directly into so they don't have to touch it. They can just do it all in one go rather than multiple times throughout the market day. And then you can also delay your reporting by 1 week. So if you want to keep them aside for a day or so before counting them, or if you've got too much other stuff going on, you know, you've got extra signage to put up for COVID, you've got more volunteers to manage, we'll give you a bit of breathing time for that. All right, so let's move on to online farmers markets now, the moment you've all been waiting for. So for equity and inclusion, that's kind of always a big priority for us, is to make sure participants of the program and anyone else in your community is treated the same. Coupons need to be accepted as a form of online payment. So if you are one of the farmers markets who is using Local Line, we've been working with them to integrate this functionality, and I'll show you some screenshots in a moment. So eligible purchases can be made. Again, just remember to continually remind vendors that it is for eligible items only. But basically, in a nutshell, participants will just go to the online store. They'll do their shop for everything that they might be buying. They'll select a pay later option. So if you've been to our conference, kind of similar to that, where you can like select pay by check or pay by invoice. And then there'll be an extra drop down that says pay with FMNCP coupons. And then the vendor will get the order ready as any other, and upon pickup or delivery of their order, they will use their coupons for payment as normal, and then the vendors can redeem those coupons as normal at the market where they got them from. So this is what it is going to look like. We can see in this one, this participant has gone to Penny's Market. They've got 3 punnets of cherries at $10 each. With their pickup fee and tax and everything, it comes to $36. In the bottom right corner, they'll then get their payment options, pay at pickup, FMNCP coupon. Now, I'm just going to show you the next slide, which takes into account what if they don't have the full amount of coupons that they need for their order. So let's say that this is just 1 week and the participant has $21 of coupons. We want to make sure that if there is partial payment with coupons, they definitely always pay at pickup, FMNCP coupon, and then just write in the order notes, I have $12 of coupons to spend. So then the vendor knows when the participant comes to pick it up that they need to figure out payment for the rest of that. So we can't do 2 types of payment right now. They just need to let them know in the order notes, so it's easy to manage once they arrive. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a live demo of this for you right now, but as soon as we do, I will record a screen grab tutorial and post that on the partner portal. But yeah, we've got the screenshots for now, which is still pretty clear. I know we keep saying this, but we really value that coupons are only used to purchase eligible items. That's a big reason why we've managed this program and continue to get funding for as long as we have, because everyone does such a good job of making sure that we follow all of the guidelines. So for this reason, and because it is the first time we're doing this online sort of way, we are putting a lot of trust in everyone to continue doing the right thing. So some vendors may have to provide a proof of sale if they're asked by the market. We may do some spot checks here and there just to get an idea of how things are going. So if you have a look at the screen before, with online it's pretty easy. That will be generated automatically, the receipts and things like that. So we'll keep you up to date with those things as we decide if we're going to do any specific monitoring of that. Another thing we're trying to figure out is having, once an order is placed with coupons, that an email would be sent to the vendor and the participant as well, just to remind them that it is for eligible items. It's on all parties involved here. Okay, so onto reporting. So we do need the weekly distribution reports. Even if you didn't give out any coupons, please report with a 0. Once the program starts, every single week's report will be online on the partner portal. I'll also be sending out weekly newsletters with the reporting link. So I'll send those out every Sunday of that week. It will give you the deadline as being the following week to have those in. So you'll get the email reminders if you're not seeing those, or if you're just kind of wanting to get ahead of yourself because your market was on a Wednesday, they will be on the partner portal, all of them, at the beginning of the season. There's a year-end participant report. So once you have filled in your participant enrollment forms, you can copy that information over into the participant report and send that to us at the end of the season. Again, just always keep an eye on those newsletters because we do ask for those things and send it all out in there every year. And this is just to get our statistics for ourselves and also for our funders so they can see the program reach. All of that stuff that Peter shows you at the beginning of the season, at the beginning of this orientation, comes from those reports. So they're really useful for us. And then we will always do the participant quick surveys. It's really nice to get feedback from participants directly. So we'll probably send those out to you in August to start circulating around. I love going through, especially the written feedback that some people give. It's always really, really nice to see the impact it's having on some people. So they'll be there too. More or less the same with markets. You just have one extra thing, which is mailing back coupons. But so we need the weekly redemption reports, even if no coupons were accepted, or your market was closed, please just report a 0. The year-end vendor report is the same. So once you get the vendor enrollments, you can copy that information into the report. They're all available on the partner portal now. Some people like to do that as they go instead of doing it all in one go at the end of the season. Vendor quick surveys, we'll try and get some more responses to that this year. The vendor side of things definitely helps us with getting the idea around the impact on agriculture, which is an important part for our association and just sort of shows how great the farmers markets actually are. And then with mailing coupons to us every month, this is done as normal. basically what we ask you to do is separate your coupons by week. So every week might be wrapped up in an elastic band, or it might be in a little bag, or some people wrap them up like a nice little present in some brown parchment paper. We will send you labels, the sticky labels that have the name of your market and the week, and you can just write on that how many coupons were there. So that would be done at the end of every month. And then we ask you to complete the packing slip. So just the piece of paper that tells us who you are and how many coupons should be in each week. This just helps us with our auditing. So we've got a few different places to look to try and see if there are discrepancies. Maybe it's already explained on these pieces of paper somewhere. And then you just bundle them up, pack them in a box, pack them in a cereal box, a shoe box. What else have we gotten? Dog food. Sometimes yellow envelopes that have been really meticulously covered in tape. However it is that they will get to us is great. And then I've put up this bit.ly link just because it's a bit easier to remember if you're just doing it on the fly. So bit.ly/FMNCP mail. Otherwise, with the weekly reportings, every month there will be a prompt in those ones when it's relevant with the link to get your coupon sent back to us. And it's also on the partner portal. So it's just where you go and put in your information, and it sends off it sets up an automatically prepaid packing slip for you to attach to your package. Now, if you can't get that working, just reach out and let us know. There's a couple of options. You can go to Canada Post with our account number and they will be able to do it for you. Or if that doesn't work and all else fails, we can reimburse you for any mailing expenses that you've incurred yourself for getting the coupons back to us. Okay, I can see lots of questions coming in. So I'll just get through this part with the materials and then we'll get all of those questions answered at the end. That's awesome. So on the partner portal, we have basically everything available online except for the physical coupons themselves. Things like brochures and signs are going to be mailed to you as well. So for the partners, you have your participant brochure. You can find the enrollment form online, both a printout Word version or a fillable PDF, which isn't up there yet. I've just got to finish setting up the fillables, but they'll be there very soon. All of the weekly reports you can find for both. Season end participant reports can be found as an Excel spreadsheet or a Google Sheet if you don't happen to have Microsoft. Participant quick survey links will be up there, and as well as the operations guide. And then for the markets, essentially the same things. It's just you have vendor handouts and vendor enrollment forms and vendor surveys. For both of you, as in previous years, we'll have 2019 community reports up online. So they should be up by the time the program starts in June. We're doing it directly in SurveyMonkey this year because they offer dashboards that you can automatically set up now, which is really awesome. It's just only one of us can be in there doing that at any given time. So when we were trying to do it all together a bit earlier on, it was a bit of a disaster because we'd be filtering, look for things in Kelowna and Terrace. And then there's no response that match both of those things at the same time. So that's there. In the background, I've been working on a food literacy guide. So some of you may have heard from me last year when I reached out and said, hey, you told us that you did this thing. Can you give me some more details? Trying to compile that all into one sort of document because then we can see exactly what people in the coupon program do because some people want a bit of inspiration around this sometimes. A lot of it probably won't be relevant this year, but there will be lots of recipes in there that you've all shared with us as well, which is awesome. You can always find the dashboard so you can see how the coupon program is going in your community. I'll be putting up some demo videos this year. Peter and I have a plan to do like a start to finish, get your coupons, go to the market, shop, and then the market redeems them and reports online. So watch this space. We'll try and get that one day when it's safe for us to go and film around a market. If you want to order extra coupons, so if you have done some fundraising, there will also be a form that you can fill in. That just means it's all in the same place for us, so we can easily track whether or not we've actually sent you the coupons and sent you the invoice. And you can also tell us, for example, who needs to be getting invoiced. If it's, the organization that is donating to you might get invoiced directly, or perhaps they pay the market and then we invoice the market. So those sorts of things can be included in there. So that's on the partner portal too. And then of course our newsletters, they will land in your inbox and they will also be posted online this year. So definitely keep an eye on them. We try to keep them brief. Sometimes they get a little bit longer, but just at least give it a skim, please, because that's generally where we first request anything that we need from you and where we first offer things like transport grants that we have available. As we start, if you're not seeing them, first thing to do would be to check your spam or junk folder. Because we use MailChimp, they can get filtered in there. Otherwise, let me know. Sometimes it's just a matter of unsubscribing and resubscribing you. Or maybe there's a typo. A new thing that we're doing this year, when I say we, our communications and membership team, they have set up a public newsletter as well. So community partners, we definitely encourage you to register or subscribe to this and encourage your participants to subscribe to this. It would probably just be giving a lot of information about what's in season, what you can find in different parts of the province. If we have any good news stories to share, I'm sure those sorts of things would go in there. So subscribing to that could be really great. If you just head to bcfarmersmarkettrail.org, then you'll get this pop-up that you can see on your screen. Now, I don't know if they landed on Peter's doorstep yesterday or today, but we should be getting our coupons this week, or at least a batch of them. They usually come in batches because there's a lot of printing for our printers to do. So we'll be sending everything out as of next week. Peter and I are going to have a physically distanced packing party in his backyard. When we send all this stuff out to you, I will put your primary contact email in it as well, so you'll get updates with a tracking number so you can follow that. But definitely as we get closer to June 8th and into the first week of June especially, if you still haven't received your materials, please let me know. We can track them down for you and find out where they've gone. We've had some really weird things happen in the past where there's been construction in an area, or it's just like fallen off the face of the earth but then been found in a really bizarre post office. So yeah, let us know if they don't show up, especially these days as Canada Post is just very, very busy. All right, so I'm going to do some quick demos of the dashboard and the reporting process to show you how those things work. So let's start with reporting. So basically, if you don't have the email in front of you, or you can't find it, or it didn't make it to you somehow, or it's a Tuesday market and you want to get your report out now, you just come to bcfarmersmarket.org, coupon program, partner portal, which I'm sure most of you have seen by now. Make sure you're on the right tab. So you've got community partners and then also farmers markets. So there's different pages for each of you. And then just down the bottom, the very last subject is submit your weekly reports. I've put week 1 in here to show you, but it's very straightforward. Community partners, yours is orange with squash. Farmers markets, yours is green with chard. So just make sure you're filling in the right one. tell us who you are, your email address. This is so you can get your send receipt, what organization you're in. There's lots of you. How many coupon sheets you gave out this week, what food literacy you're doing, and any other questions. Then you'll hit submit. Now, once you do that, you'll get an email back that says, thanks for filling out this form. It's really important that you star or flag this email, whatever you're using. I've started organizing my flag stuff with different colors because they've usually got some things ongoing for orientation, some things ongoing for design. Maybe that would work for you. And then basically you just have this on record so you do know if you actually did your report or not. And if you need to change anything, you can edit. So say in this example I gave yesterday, it was 1,500 vouchers, coupons, not 150. You can just come in and change that. If you do submit it again, that first answer will still come up on the dashboard. So it's really important that you do it through the edit. So just figure out a way to save those that works for you. Okay, so that is the end of my section. And thank you everyone for your hard work. I know it's been a bit weird this year getting started. Things have happened a bit later than usual, so we definitely appreciate your patience. We had to first figure out like, okay, we have funding for a coupon program. Can people even operate this year? So yeah, it was great that everyone filled in that survey and let us know what you're up to. So I'm just going to go through some of the questions now. So I'll put my webcam back on. Yeah.
Hi, Tom. So,
Hi.
So what I've done is I've actually, I can go through them and talk about them, but I actually have written answers that I'll send now. I didn't want to send it while you were talking so that you could have that focus.
Oh, cool.
So I'll go ahead and I'll start doing that. Starting with, I think, just looking at in the order they came in. So Cara Aylard was asking, are you able to buy coupons? So I just sent the link, or I sent the link to the page where you can order additional coupons. So if you have your own funds, you want to use it, then you just click that and place an order through that spot. There costs $21 for a sheet, so the cost is the cost of the coupon itself, and that's it. So that's pretty straightforward. There on that page too, we didn't talk about it on that page, is that we often ask, and we will ask markets and partners, some of them want to waive their honorarium so that there's more coupons in their community. That's fine. Just let us know, and we won't send you an honorarium. Instead, we'll send you we'll send the partner the balance of the coupons. Yeah, we'll send you the coupons representing the amount of the honorarium that is waived. But it's certainly not.
I'm just showing these things on the screen as well.
And then I saw Tracy had asked a question of, can transport grants be used to support delivery of produce to participants? And so anything you want to say on that? I think we envision that's possible. So it may be not transporting people, but it could be transporting stuff.
Yeah, I think it would this year.
And then Kristen asked, well, I'll send the answer. Can I walk clients through the online form over the phone? This is, I think, for ordering, and they tell me what responses to put in the online form, saying I want carrots, I want peas, and get me some cheese, and because their clients don't have computers. And so the answer is absolutely. If you're in a position to do that, support people, that's great. As you do it a couple of times, you might find that you create a common order list to streamline it, because I imagine like in Kelowna, with 57 food vendors, there'll probably be 40 different farms that you can visit, and you probably will, yeah, have to figure out how to manage that. And this, I'm going to send this as Carmen was asking, because Carmen works with like a group that is dispersed, and so that they send people to a variety of markets in the interior region. Is there a way to find out which ones have online markets or how they're operating? So sending this through, there is a link on the trail. If you click through that link, then you can see, you can select their feature, and under that features is online farmers markets. You can also then sort it by region or even community, and that'll give you the up-to-date information we know about those markets. I also, and that requires the markets to tell us what's going on, and so we only update it when we get news from them. So as a supplement, we also follow the farmers markets themselves to determine what they're doing, because they might work on getting things up and running in their community, and then there might be a delay in them telling us for us to put it up on our website. Talia, why don't you take a few? You can do that.
Yeah, sure. So can they use coupons to pay for the pickup fee and pickup tax? I don't know.
Lucky one I didn't have an answer to.
If that's part of the whole order.
Yeah, let's discuss that.
We'll have to think about that one and talk to ministry, I
we'll
think.
take that away. And then the question is, are anyone, any other markets on here who that might be a situation where on top of it there's tax and on top of it there's a pickup or delivery fee? Let us know, and so we know more what that's like. Because at the farmers markets, the vendors are only charging $3, $4, $5, $7, $8, $9, and they don't say, and then plus tax, but they are obligated to pay tax. But on the online system, it looks like they're doing that. So we'll have to explore that, Ingrid. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we've got a question from Laverne. So with the online, is someone going to be sending info on how this will work? Yes. So all we've got right now is those screenshots, but once we have it fully functioning, we will do a demo video and include that in a newsletter and post that on the website. And we're always happy to just help out over the phone too.
Yeah. And it'll be in the participant brochure too, right? Some instructions. They can't be too specific. But some of the stuff that we share with you will be there too, in the operations manual. Yeah.
Yep. As a partner, what do we do with the stub we keep after giving out the coupons? That's totally up to you. Keep it for the season. What that stub does is it attaches a coupon to a participant. There's a serial number on the back, so if something goes wrong, or even if they go missing, like I believe it was in Kamloops where someone found a bunch of coupons that someone dropped, you can locate who it was for and give them back to them or talk to them about what's going on. But we don't need to get those back from you.
Yeah, the library found them in a library book. So.
Yeah. And then another one about sending coupons weekly. So it doesn't necessarily have to be weekly this year, just as long as you still have regular contact some way. So you can send them out every other week or monthly, or have people pick them up, drop them off. As long as you're still staying in touch with the participants over the phone or email or whatever, it doesn't have to be that same in person week to week.
The one thing I added to the written question is the difference is you may be giving them out less frequently, but please report weekly. So if you aren't giving out coupons in this week, please tell us you gave out 0. That tells us you're alive. That tells us you still have a plan. If you give them out once a month and you don't put any reports in for a full month, then that's when we feel anxious about whether or not we've lost track of you, something's happened, and so to keep us from investigating you and your whereabouts, if you report weekly, and we try to make it as simple as possible, just say, didn't give out any coupons this week because I do it every other week. Totally fine. It just means we're confident that you're still there and everything's going. Yeah.
Yeah. A question from Tracy. This is actually a good one I was thinking about today. I am working from home. Am I able to have coupons mailed to my home address rather than the office? Yes, please send that to us.
I
If your
sent the
mailing
nutrition
address.
email address.
Oh, great. Yep. You can just send it to nutrition@bcfarmersmarket.org. If your mailing address has changed for this year, let us know as soon as you can. And then we've got, can coupons be used at other farmers markets? Yes, any market that participates in the program can accept any coupon from any part of the region.
Then there was, did you see the one from Sandy about Clearwater Farmers Markets? It's familiar with the fact that we have an inventory of envelopes. On the outside of the envelope, it says name of market and how many coupons, and a ×3 equals blank. If that's useful for you, please let us know and we'll include them in our mail out to you. We can tell us how many you want by sending it to the same nutrition at BC Farmers Markets. You may find that some of the vendors may, or the market manager may be more comfortable having them in an envelope. So I'm going to send that out. Yeah. And Laverna was asking about food literacy. In that basket, it's supporting people in being better at knowing how to use food, how to budget for food, being more confident about cooking, about preserving, about even just keeping food fresh, knowing things about what is the impact of eating certain foods, which ones offer more nutritional density. It's more, could be about learning how to grow food or harvest food that they find in the wild, and so it's or knowing that they have a healthy situation that would benefit from a change in diet and providing them with support on that, or even just knowing like how, if I've got a certain fixed amount of dollars and I want to eat healthy, how do I budget appropriately, like, and then also it's good for supermarkets, like I want to read a label, I'm supposed to reduce sodium, like how do I know which of these items to pick off the shelf?
Yep, pretty broad umbrella. And then.
Oh, okay, Kristen. Oh, Kristen's question, you're clarifying, hey? The online, when you're talking about, you weren't talking about online ordering, you're talking about online enrollment. So can you register people without them actually filling out a piece of paper or doing it online? You can actually do it on the phone, and saying like, okay, I've now talked to Peter LeBlanc. I've got all his details. It says, oh, signature. I'm like, okay, and Kristen for Peter LeBlanc. So then you have it. What we need in the end is the information on the participant report, which will give us like, there was a male, PL, gender isn't really actually specific, PL who had a family of 3, things like that. So you can actually collect that information online. You might be recording it on a document, but you'd be collecting the information necessary for later reporting.
Yeah.
And Donna had a question. Donna from the Barrier Market. This is maybe to Ingrid. What food has to have tax added? That's a good question. That might be part of our
answer to that.
Because I think that from what I understand is unless it's like, I think most food is tax free. But we'll investigate that and get back to you if there is tax added on. I think, yeah. Sorry, GST and PST different than, yeah, so Ingrid, if you got anything to add. Oh, Got it. It was on the online page that Talia showed us.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
it was.
Okay. The companies from Ontario, when they did a mock-up, they probably just put in some fake items that had tax and a delivery
Yep.
fee. If markets don't have delivery fees or taxes that are included, then it's a non-question, but we'll answer it in the event that they do.
Yeah. And then a question from Janet. What if we find ourselves low income this year? Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of us are facing that risk. Apply for your program, I guess.
Yeah, it's
a tough one to
I
answer.
mean, as long as you're like, we always want to have a bit of an arm's length so that it's, the person distributing the coupon, it isn't necessarily the one who's also receiving it. And when I say that, not necessarily, I mean, there may be situations where this year that's going to be a factor. I was at a market at one point where someone is the market manager and realized that her parents were receiving coupons and was really concerned. We consider that a conflict of interest. She was also felt really badly that as the daughter, she hadn't been able to provide them, like she wasn't able to make sure that they were well fed as a farmer. Or I mean, she wasn't a farmer herself. She had other things that she sold. She was just really, but that both of those, she had a legitimate question, and then she was also worried because she felt like she wasn't being a good daughter. But we explained that that there are situations like that exist, and that's not a problem. Another example is at the Hazelton market up in the north. They set it up so that they take the honorarium and have one of the coupon recipients becomes the person who's at the market handing out the coupons, and they get paid an honorarium to be at the market. They're helping their other participants get the coupons, but they also have a batch of coupons to use for themselves. So we can envision that that's going to occur. I remember last year that at every single orientation, we had someone who ran a program that explained how they had been a recipient of the coupon program in the past. The tables may be turning this year, so we wouldn't have any issues with that. Just ask you to maintain the integrity of the program, but still that would make absolute sense. Okay, and then Donna asked for the envelopes. So Donna, also if you can send us just because once we disappear, it's kind of hard to keep track of the requests. I'm going to send you the email address back out. Send us an email address, Donna, an email, and then we'll send it to you. What do you do? Okay, Marlene asked about what, and I'll have Talia answer this. What do you do with the coupons if a participant doesn't pick them up?
Yeah, so the first thing to do would obviously be to reach out to that participant and find out why they haven't picked them up. If they just don't like the program, you can give them to someone on your waiting list. So some places will do like a first in, if you don't pick them up this week, you lose them, or if you can't pick them up, please tell us so we can hold them for you. So it's really up to you how you manage that. Definitely just find out what's going on. If it's not working for them, they can go to someone else in the community.
So yeah, and Laverne, you were asking if your organization had an increase in coupons, can we use them to provide to our children in care parents? I think so. If what you have are caregivers who have children in a situation, even if it isn't in a biological situation, that should be not a problem if that's what you meant. If not, you can, if you think it's a slightly different situation, send us an email at nutrition@bcfarmersmarket.org and we can clarify that. And then Colleen from Armstrong also indicated that there's a vendor who charges tax on some food items at their farmers market in Armstrong. So we'll investigate this whole tax scenario.
Yes.
And just to confirm, do you get when I send the answers through, is everyone able to see it, not just the person who ask the question. And Talia, was there anything else? I was going to see if anyone else wanted to come on mic and if there was anything else they wanted to add or ask in person, they could raise their hand. If there was anyone who wanted to give you a chance to do that, this is really unusual for you to be able to see us. We can't see you, but if you wanted to, had anything you wanted to share or ask that was a little bit more nuanced. So, all right, then, yeah, does that bring us to the end? The end of this beginning? Oh, I see it. A couple hands.
We've
Okay,
got
good.
some hands.
All right, Trisha, I'm going to unmute you. You're unmuted now, and then Tracy, you're up next after Trisha.
Hey, at the end of our season last year, we have a family that lives out of town, and they just weren't going to make it back into town to get to the farmers market. So she had some coupons and wanted to give them back to me, but I just didn't have time to get them out to another family. Should I just consider those then null and void, or because we run a program, could I use those then to purchase food for our families for that program? Or do I just garbage them at the end of the season?
Yeah, we've already taken the money that wasn't redeemed and poured it into this year, so they aren't, they don't have any value anymore if there's any coupons from last year.
Yeah, no, sorry.
So,
I mean, like at the end of this season, just so I know going forward if that happens again, because we have families that live outside of town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you have some that if you let us know that there's some inventory that wasn't used, let us know and we'll see how to hold that for next year. Because if we know we can suspend it for your program, otherwise, if they hand it out to folks, they don't redeem them, we just put into the general pool.
I think it's more around buying food for your program though. So you can't use them to yourself, but you can give them out to other people to use at the end of the season if you know that they'll be able to make it to the market as well.
Right, thanks.
All right, now Tracy Franklin, I'm going to unmute you. So you're next, and anybody else, if you put your hand up, you'll be after Tracy.
Hi, not really question or anything, just a statement. Thank you also, Talia and Peter, for all your hard work. It must have been fun this year. I just wanted to put it out to Janet Brown and John Rankin from Boys and Girls Club and Salvation Army. I would love to connect with both of them. And Trisha, I have your contact info, so I'll get in touch with you, but just kind of to all get on the same base because we're all in the same community. So yeah, if Janet or John could email me, I'm community@accesscenter.org.
Awesome.
And one tool we'll do, because when we meet in person, usually we're all in the same room and you can look at each other in the eye and say, let's go for coffee after this or something like that. And we can't do that. So let's make a note, Talia, that we privately share a contact sheet for everyone, so that if you need to make a connection to someone and you don't already know how, like some of you may know the person already and how to reach them, but if you don't, we'll give you that information so that you can do that. Or you can ask us directly, but we'll try to give you something that you can use for that purpose for sure. Thanks. And that's a good point, because we know that we often talk about this, and we didn't mention this in this orientation, is that in communities where there's multiple partners, you may have people who are in each of your programs, and we want to ensure that some folks don't inadvertently aren't getting coupons from 2 or 3 different partners. So that's one of the key reasons we ask you to communicate, so you're able to still maintain your confidentiality with people, but figure out a way to ensure that someone isn't saying like, hey, if I go to all these programs, I can get 4 sets of coupons. Like they may think about that, not knowing that means it blocks the program from other people who are on the waiting list because they're taking more than their share. And then Laverne was also asking asked if a list of all the farmers markets throughout BC can be mailed. We actually, I'm going to put this link in here. It has all of the, if you follow that, that'll be the list of all of the markets. It currently has the feature of online farmers markets. If you take that off, I don't know how to turn it off right now, but you just change that feature, to show all markets. Yeah, I can do that here. This one will give you all the markets. Now, it also will say on there in the, it'll also say in there if they're a member of the coupon program. About 80% of the markets across the province are in the coupon program, but there are some markets that aren't participating. They can't use their coupons there because the markets aren't set up for having them be reimbursed, and their vendors haven't necessarily been oriented to how the program operates. So do stick to that. The BCFM is not creating print directories this year, so you can't even go to your market and pick one up. You'll have to refer to the online section to see which markets are in the province and then which ones are in the program. In your community, you already know that. If you're in your community, you know that your market is available. So.
And we've got a raised hand from Helen.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
I just have a question for our area. Should I email you and ask the question, or could you help me now?
How specific is it? It might help other people.
We have other partners in the community, and I'd like to know who they are so we can sort of get together and discuss who has coupons and who does not. Would you know that or not?
Yeah, we would know that. We'll send that out sometime soon. So community contact sheets. We can send that out with everyone's details in them. Yep.
Thank you very much. Great job.
Yeah. There's also Helen or anyone on the call. We have a page which we haven't updated it yet for 2020, but it has a list of where does the program operate, the coupon program operate. And that's for people in the community who are interested in receiving coupons. So I'm going to see if I can fire up that.
I've got it up.
Okay, so yeah, show that, and that place will show it, and it'll have the list. You know, you can drop down, at 100 Mile House, and it says the community partners, the Caribou Family Enrichment Center. So 90% of that is 99% of that information is going to be valid for 2020. We'll just update it, but that'll tell you who the partners are. It doesn't have their contact details, but we'll have that. But sometimes once you know who they are, it's easy enough to find the contact details. And I'm gonna put that URL. So I always like to save URLs. I'm gonna put that URL in someone else's question answer because I don't know how to send everybody a message, but and there was a question from Janet saying, how do I reduce the number of coupons I need to? That's totally fair. Send us an email at nutrition@bcfarmersmarkets.org, and then we'll reduce your allocation before we send it, and then we'll have them in a pool to reallocate for other places that might benefit from having more. All right, any other hands, Talia? I think we've covered the questions.
Yeah, I think that's it. Good questions, everyone. And our contact's up on the screen, so if anything comes up afterwards, always feel free to reach out. We're obviously not answering the phone, but you can leave messages or just send us an email. We can call you if you prefer to speak over the phone too.
Yeah, and I think my cell phone number is in my email signature, so feel free to reach out that way if you'd like. So thanks very much. We'll send you materials, but please keep in touch with us as you need things, and appreciate your time and attention today. I hope, again, no sandwich we're not providing you a sandwich, so I hope you can find something to sustain yourselves.
Bye, everyone.